Testing,
Hey.
testing.
Test, 1 2 1 2.
Hello, hello.
1 2. Is it working?
Hey, how's it going, guys? This is our first time doing this, so we are rolling with it.
Yes, we are.
I have Paula here with me. We're currently in Arizona, and funny story is we actually met way back in Chicago. We both used to live there. Our paths kind of separated, and then through chiropractic, it kind of came back together.
Go chiropractic.
Pretty insane. She is a recent graduate, 2020,
2020.
right?
Yep.
And we're just going to cover a couple of things about questions about chiropractic or life in general.
Yeah.
So, Paula, what brought you to Arizona?
So that's a great question. So back in 2020, I had graduated from Palmer October 2020, and I was just at a point where I'm like, I have no job lined up. I have this, I have all this stress, and literally 3 days before I graduated, I got an offer in Arizona, and it was such an amazing team. It was Adio Chiropractic. That's what brought me out here. I was planning to work as an associate chiropractor, but life happens, boards happens.
Yeah.
And so when you mix that with what you're going through and the journey of your life, everybody has a story. And I took a risk. I left everything that I knew to go for chiropractic because I knew in my heart that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I just went all in with the first offer I had. I had about maybe like 3 offers towards graduation, whether to stay in Chicago, go back to California, or go to Arizona.
Yeah.
And I just was like, I don't want to stay in Illinois anymore, and I just want to grow and expand. And so I took a risk and I moved out to Arizona, hoping to become an associate.
Yeah.
And I worked for them for almost a year.
Okay.
But boards had just been such a stronghold on me. Mm-hmm. But it comes with being confident in what you're called to do in your life.
Yeah.
Trusting that you know the information, right? And then just applying it. But it's so easy to say. But then when you're in it for sure, But when you're in it, it's like, oh, I'm actually doing it.
Yeah.
So just like life balance. I learned a lot when I first moved out here.
Okay.
So,
yeah, a lot of growing up and a lot of like.
Yeah.
This is me adulting now.
I know. I feel like I talk too much about that, but.
She did mention that she was in Chicago, then she went to California, and she's in Arizona. Like we basically miss each other at those junctions.
Yes.
Because I was in California, she happened to be in. I was in NorCal, she was in SoCal. She was in Chicago, I was in Arizona. Now she's in Arizona, I'm in California.
Yeah.
We're all over the place.
Just those 3 states, though.
Hey, but it's cool. It's cool that we're able to meet up and just talk it up and talk about chiropractic. You did mention boards. So what do you have to say about, like, I guess, what's the whole board process? What should people do to like study for boards or prepare for boards?
Yeah. Honestly, boards, for all the chiropractors out there who are already practicing, this burning passion we have with the NBCE. But for students who are just approaching boards or trying to get through them, don't lose your hope, because boards doesn't define you as a chiropractor. It doesn't define how you're going to practice. It's just a way for you to pass these exams and get your license so you can legally practice. Don't ever let a failure define you, because we're gonna go through so many failures to get to success. And so preparation for boards, you can prepare all you want, but boards is going to ask you random questions every single time. But I do recommend Irene Gold or MBS, Dr. James and Dr. Laura videos. But also getting a tutor if you really need help, because they'll hold you accountable to see how much you're studying if you're already having trouble focusing on the topic. So with our boards, there's 4 parts, right? You have part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, and also PT if it's required in the state you want to practice in, right? And so it is a process, and I recommend taking boards while you're in the program. I had started doing that, but it was just too much for me to handle at that time. And so I waited until after I graduated to take all 4. And here I am, just almost done with it. But
Nice.
yeah, it's a lot, but when you know that chiropractic is for you,
Yeah.
you'll know that this is what I need to do to practice how I want to practice, or
Gotcha.
to start serving people, or to start helping facilitate that healing power through chiropractic. But
Okay.
boards is just another obstacle you got to get through after school, but you're meant for it because the program already makes you strong enough to get through it. So if you can get through the program, you can get through boards. It's just really your choice of how you want to prepare for it.
Okay. As a current chiropractic student in my feet,
Yeah.
or like anyone that's like below or above me in quarter wise, I know obviously like there's a lot of studying that goes into like passing exams and like passing each class, but do you also suggest like taking the time to like, I guess, practice actual technique, whether it's going to seminars or like practicing at school?
100%, right? So yes, all the yes. I recommend going to seminars just to get your feet wet and just to know what adjusting feels like, just to know what the actual experience is, right? I mean, you can only learn so much in school, and yeah, you know, some schools say that you can't practice adjusting outside of school, right?
Right.
Disclaimer. I mean, I already graduated, so
Put a little disclaimer box on the bottom of the screen right here.
disclaimer. No one will know if you don't say anything. But I mean, it's like one of those spoken things.
Right, yeah.
So I definitely recommend going to seminars because it lights a different fire inside
Yeah.
of you rather than sitting through technique classes, sitting through lectures.
Right.
You need to apply what you learn, and you can't really apply 100% of the time when you're in lecture sitting for hours on
Right.
end.
Yeah.
And then you have to go home and study for the next exam that's coming up
Yeah.
after you just took a quiz,
Right.
after you just finished assignment. So
Yeah.
I think definitely going to seminars is what will keep you from burning out
Okay.
in the actual program.
Okay, cool. Last question. As far as interacting with like our other chiros that are already out in the field, what has your like experience been, and what suggestions do you have for people that are like they want to talk, expand, or like what kind of questions they should ask when asking other
When meeting
chiros?
chiros?
Yeah, meeting chiros.
Honestly, I recommend meeting as much as chiropractors as you can, even when you're in the program, because in our field, there's so many chiropractors like open arms, ready to take on and help students because they feed you this passion that you don't necessarily get in school. Because a lot of the chiropractors I had met when I was going through the program were just so inspirational, so supportive, and so ready to lend an ear and give advice on what school doesn't teach you, right? There's like this whole of like, school is not doing enough.
Yeah.
And chiropractors are becoming upset because they're not practicing the philosophy, the art, the science of what chiropractic truly is.
Okay.
So when you meet a chiropractor, ask them why they became a chiropractor.
Yeah.
Ask them what techniques they do, because there's a ton of techniques. There's not just one. There's one that fits every chiropractor that will fit the needs of your patient.
Yeah.
But it is good to learn other techniques because sometimes one technique might not be benefiting your patient.
Right.
But that's why you need other chiropractors, because if your technique that you love so much isn't working for this patient, you can refer it to a good colleague that can take care of them. And so asking them what technique, why they're doing it, and ask them, if you were back in school in my position right now, what's a piece of advice you would give to yourself?
Nice. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we don't want to get our food to get cold, so we're about to go eat right now. This is Dr. Paula.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure. Let them know what your handles are, where they can follow you.
You know, it's still in the works, but content is coming. You can follow me at chiro.politics. That's PAULATICS. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We'll put it in the description as well. It's been a pleasure. Thanks, guys.